Hello and welcome to CNR Extra from our studios at number 5, Owula Hansen Lane, Tesano, Accra. My name is Nanatufo Boateng. Coming up. Former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapa arrested by special prosecutor for suspected corruption. Meanwhile, officials from the office have also conducted a home search of the former minister.
That the only thing why we are here at this point is because it came out in the public and there was a public outcry.
As far as I'm concerned, it's much as ado about nothing. He hasn't demonstrated seriousness to his work.
Autopsy report confirms the alleged police brutality victim in the Ashanti region's cause of death as massive blood in abdominal cavity and splenic rupture.
Ti ebe hia se pepepe yo ana ye hwe animu se akola ne de wafiri mu ana body ne yenya yekosie no ba ebe sere se mpanyimfo bosha mo hye se pepepe ye beba no eno ne ye twen.
Also coming up, Ghana Water Company vows to halt operations in illegal mining affected areas as water turbidity hits critical level.
If I had my way, Ghanaians will go and chase all the galamsees out of their areas, because once the turbidity goes up, we'll shut the plant.
And later, we'll bring you the captivating tale of a 14-year-old swimmer, Naima Kankam, who is on the path to stardom.
There's so many things I want to do, and I don't know that swimming is my main goal. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life. But I'm going to keep swimming until I find out what I want to do. Right now, I know I want to swim. So I'm living in the moment and swimming.
Well, grateful to you for joining us this morning. The show is interactive, and so you can join us with your thoughts, your comments, and your contributions via the WhatsApp number. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube at Citi TV and Citi Tube, respectively. So join us, let us know what you think about the various stories that we will be bringing you. The WhatsApp number is 0204447033. Send us your thoughts, your comments, and contributions. Now joining me in studio this morning is Nilati Lati. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Nanatufo. Good to be here.
Yeah, looking sharp as always.
As you two are looking sharp and dapper.
Thank you.
You know how we do it.
Interesting time to be a Ghanaian, isn't it?
Interesting time to be a Ghanaian, and also people are looking for it to becoming house helps in,
I know, right?
Of some foreign ministers.
Exactly. Talk about all the difficulties we are facing, and then we just come across the news that a minister is losing 1 million cedis to house helps.
At the time, government officials were advising us not to be hoarding dollars.
Exactly.
The same government officials were keeping, such amounts of starch in their house. Interesting times ahead. I mean, let's see how her resignation and also the investigations by the Office of the Special Prosecutor will end this particular issue.
All right. On that note, let's go straight into our first story, and of course, gleaning from the mini discussion we've had just now, let's bring you the story about the recently resigned Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Dapa, who was arrested yesterday, granted bail, but not without officers from the Office of the Special Prosecutor conducting a search in her home.
On Monday, July 24, 2023, they searched the home of former Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Dapa. Madame Dapa was earlier on Monday picked for questioning over suspected corruption. This follows her resignation over a significant sum of both foreign and local currencies which were stolen from her residence. We have more in this report.
The Office of the Special Prosecutor early in the day issued a press statement indicating that it has since arrested the former Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, the Honorable Cecilia Dapa, And after further interrogation, she's been brought to her home here at Abelempe within the Ayaoso West Wogon municipality. And I can count about 3 vehicles that are black pickups with security personnel in all of them. And I understand from what I'm gathering that she was in the company of the authorities or the officials, and they've since gone into a number of search. Station to have been stolen from her property are indeed things that are related to corruption or corruption-related issues that a special prosecutor has actually taken interest to investigate. Now, let's get a sense of how the honorable former minister has been relating with people within her locality.
There are thousands of Ghanaians who are suffering. Such a month, if you calculate it, you give it to the government, we can get schools, we can get roads, we can get hospitals. You understand me? That's as a Ghanaian, I feel pity for her. If the woman like this would keep such a month in the house. And this amount they stole is more than, there's more. Because they pick this one, because they can't carry all. I'm telling you, how can 1 million, more than 1 million may be there, but they can't carry it on their head. That's what I'm saying. For me, I'm begging the president to give the special a free hand. The politicians should leave the man alone to do this work. Those in the National Assembly, they say they want to do their investigation, they also will do. So it will be a lesson to all political appointees.
The search party conducted a search within the premises for close to 3 good hours. We got here at exactly 5 o'clock on the dot, and as we speak, the search is over and it's 7 o'clock. But they were here before we got here, and we asked and we understand that they were here for about some 40 minutes to an hour before we came around. So the search literally took place for about 3 good hours. This was in the company of police and military personnel from the office of the special prosecutor, including plainclothes officials from that particular office that is currently investigating the alleged corruption and corruption-related offences, as stated by the office of the special prosecutor, with regards to the gargantuan amount of money that was alleged to have been stolen from this house by the household of the former Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources. Now, the special prosecutor would now continue with his investigation. So far, we do not know what they've taken out of this particular house, which will be evidence for them in their work. But we strongly believe that this was done in a manner that probably would have transparency at heart. It was done in the presence of someone we think is the lawyer of the minister. And then again, this was done in closed doors. No cameras were allowed in there. We will now leave every issue to the special prosecutor to continue with his investigation. My name is Fred Duo reporting.
Hansen Ajiman has been picking reactions from stakeholders following the arrest of the former Minister of Sanitation and Resources, Cecilia Dapa.
Between Friday, July 21 and Monday, July 24, Cecilia Dapa's status has moved from being one of the prestigious ministers in the Nana-Addo-led government and a victim of a theft case to a suspect in corruption and corruption-related offences. The office of the special prosecutor placed the former minister under arrest on Tuesday following publications of a theft case involving some huge sums of money. According to court documents that have since gone viral, house helps of the former Sanitation and Water Resources Minister stole from her home in excess of $1 million, 300,000 euros, and personal effects valued at thousands of cedis and dollars. The theft, according to the documents, occurred between July and October 2022. Key amongst the concerns raised was the source of the money stolen, as many wondered how such an amount of money could be kept at the home of a minister. For this reason, The Center for Democratic Development, which supports the action of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, says the investigations should have been triggered when she made the complaint.
It still says something about the triggers for responding to anti-corruption issues, that the only thing why we are here at this point is because it came out in the public and there was a public outcry, and before the system responds, and that seems to be the pattern. So if you don't get a media person exposing the corruption that probably everybody already knows, or the system might know, but because it's not in the public, political actors or whatever, or investigative agencies don't take action.
The National Democratic Congress, however, believes that the investigations by the Office of the Special Prosecutor may be attempts to cover up for the former Sanitation and Water Resources Minister.
All the scandals involving past ministers, PDS scandal, if he's able to finish all of that, then we'll be confident as Ghanaians to take him serious. But as far as I'm concerned, it's much as ado about nothing. He hasn't demonstrated seriousness to his work. We believe that he has suddenly become himself a rubber stamp that the presidency is using to whitewash itself of corruption.
Prior to the arrest, President Akufo-Addo on Saturday accepted the resignation of the former minister. In the acceptance letter, the president expressed confidence that the integrity of the former minister whilst in office will be established. The Center for Democratic Development has taken issue with this position of President Akufo-Addo.
Sometimes it has to go beyond what is legal to signal to people that certain behaviors are not acceptable, right? And so therefore, it's when these matters come, yes, they are your appointees, but you want to make sure that, it's investigated thoroughly, there are no interference, nothing, and that the person knows that there is a proper code of conduct for ministers that they have to follow. But that's not what we have seen, I think, for many years now. And that's why I think, our anti-corruption fight has been so difficult.
NDC legislator Neil Van der Poy has, however, urged the president to allow investigative bodies undertake their duties.
If the government decides, if Mr. Clearing agent decides to clear her and let her go, Ghanaians will punish them at the elections in 2024 for this.
Reporting for Citi News, Hansen Ajeman.
Well, I don't know what you make of this story, but so far we've not been told specifically what law Madame Cecilia Dapaah has broken. Also, we know that this is a house she shares with the husband and a daughter. Plus the maids, of course. So we don't even know if this is her money or her husband's money. Not holding brief for her, but what we know so far is that she's been arrested, questioned by the special prosecutor. Her home has been searched, and as at about 10 p.m. last night, she was granted bail. But we don't know if any charges have been preferred against her yet.
And even in addition to that, we are yet to hear from the former minister. She actually issued a statement trying to clarify issues at a later date, and insisting that there are inconsistencies in the stories that are making around in the public domain. But of course, I share in your concern the fact that which specific law. The argument is that there is no explicit law that the former minister might have broken, but if you listen to the discussion or even listen to civil society and anti-corruption campaigners, you realize that their argument is that one, there is the asset declaration law, and also even in the code of conduct of public officers, even in the eyes of the public, the optics. A minister of state, or for that matter, should not be, engaged in, such an activity, having hoarding, huge sums of money in the private residence. And so that is where the issue lies. But legally, the argument really is that, well, there is no law that the minister might have broken. So for what crime has she committed, for which reason she's been, a subject of, public criticisms. And so one, it's good that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, which is mandated to, look into some of these issues, trying to find answers to, how public officers or any other individual will be having such an amount of money. But my problem really is that between when the incidents occurred, that is somewhere last year,
the actual theft,
the actual theft, and even when it got into the public domain, which was last Friday, why did the Office of the Special Prosecutor wait till, Monday? A lot could have changed in the home of,
Well, I'm sure that there are processes.
I know there are processes, but
you need to secure a warrant and all that.
I understand that there might be processes for which reason the Office of the Special Prosecutor must, conclude before going into the private. But a lot might have changed between, then and now. And so it really cast doubt on, the level of investigation some way. Because, well, what if they've moved a lot more money from the home to another place, or even...
No, I mean, irrespective of whatever investigation into her money or whatever, if I have noticed that money I keep at this particular place in my house is being stolen, I would be minded to move it out of there.
Exactly. So when they went, well, we are picking up information that they've been able to chance on, something substantial. We are yet to hear what the Office of the Special Prosecutor, but like I was saying, Nana, this intervention from the Office of the Special Prosecutor could have been swift.
Right.
Could have been swift. Let me put it that way, in order not to, cast doubt on the work.
But
of
others
the
are also
office
saying he
of
acted swiftly.
Well, I mean, from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, even Monday, it didn't happen in the morning, it didn't happen in the afternoon, later in the evening.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, well, they know what they are doing, so maybe we may leave it at that. But it's also important to emphasize that the former minister, a minister, I know we'll be going into that very, very soon, what constituents are saying and residents of a hometown are saying and all that. But the minister resigned under pressure. President Akufo-Addo's explanation for the resignation. I mean, some of these things, it's very problematic if you look at them, especially because this is a government that has had this name for itself, that is a clearing house and all that. And so for a minister to resign, for the government, the president to come out with such a statement, talking about her loyalty and all that. I mean, this isn't the time for the president to be talking about such an issue. Well, she may be loyal, but this is not what Ghanaians want to hear.
You should not be seen to be mounting a defense.
Exactly. I mean, the president could have said that, well, I've accepted your resignation. Right. Because even the former minister actually admitted to, collaborating with state agencies to ensure that this particular...
But she said in her statement that she's availing herself for the investigations.
The president could have even said that, well...
I accept your resignation, that's
other than talking about...
And I wish you well.
Exactly.
Let's go to the hometown of Madame Cecilia Abena-Dapaah in Pasetia in the Ashanti region. Let's pick the sentiments of the residents there.
Inhabitants of Pasetia, the hometown of the former minister, say they are indifferent about her resignation, as they say she did not use her influence to drive development in the area. And some residents even expressed excitement over the predicament of the embattled former minister, having served as a two-time member of parliament for the Bantama constituency. The residents, however, expressed mixed reactions over the current scandal she's embroiled in. Citi News' bureau chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Opomafo, has more.
For over 2 decades, Madame Cecilia Abena-Dapaah has been a household name in Ghana's political scene. She has held various positions from deputy minister to substantive ministerial positions such as the aviation and the sanitation and water resources ministry. Following recent issues about her house helps allegedly stealing over $1 million from her house, which has been reported to the police, and now it has generated a lot of discussions and it has even led to a resignation. We're here at her hometown at Pasetia in the Chumamponia district of the Ashanti region to gauge the mood of the people as to how they feel about this.
More than 25 years. Me ko 30 years I na matena sa aku school I school I bia enye issue ye ba mo bo ni din na mo buy kran pa mo bo ni din a me nim ne so firi kuro yi mu na so we sika we da wonti fa me bo kuro mu fo de a ne e wono a ye mfa no de asine no an ye na ge na ankasa so ye wase ye bo na ba so ya de first sika no I was here born about the first canon because I was here by idea. So it's my first canon. When you are revising Kutufi, or also best in the life ye. Because who say penny on anything, I don't bonny when it in our first cases are that they are two on so far and to get it on your bonibia. Cabaya Craba, Comunjano, Moon free and uncle, now baby free and on ton, Mobia and a shade. Because you to the year, but
I mean, I muntia if you may say tiny through. Put too many boys, young boys, and give you school crowd. You move for so bia, Penmubia Mubia. Now go yes, can you achua? Yeah, they didn't come out.
As I see, and be any evidence or yes, can
I had the only evidence. I had the evidence. I want to say one more. If you call sanitation minister, crown, even zoom like a car, one for drop a new bago crown percentia. Yeah, any bago cry. I've asked them to open percentia for more. Bien, Mazupa won't friendly part to Bien will become Yamano. You knew not make crime wounded that. Oba, hello, and Yachuabe, hello, I'll go. Kodum.
Madam Cecilia Abinadapa served as the Member of Parliament for the Bantama constituency between January 2005 and January 2013. We have come to the Bantama constituency to find out from the constituents how they feel about this development.
She has never done anything good to Bantama before, and the money aspect, I prefer them even jailing her. Because as an MPN or a minister, having such amount in your house or in your room or whatever does not mean anything meaningful. Why am I saying all this? You want money to develop the country and you're not using the money to help anybody in this country, or even your ministerial appointment, you're not helping anybody there. And you're not going to tell us you worked hard for this money. It can't be possible. Over $1 million and also the euros and all that aspect. I don't think it is her own benefit money or her own sweat money. So this thing has to be really, I think we have to even take serious risks about that thing. Maybe in case of maybe jailing her or whatever, has to be, I think has to be the good thing we have to do.
So I think Ghanaians should sometimes stay cool and watch before they come out with some issues or something like this or some accusations or blames. They should wait a little bit and see what's next before bringing out anything that's in the mind. For the resignation, in fact, it's very sad for us being on her side. It's very sad. Yeah, for the Bantama people, it's very sad. She was supposed to wait a little bit before resigning and see what next. But for the resignation, it's very sad for us. It's very sad.
Why do you feel sad about it?
Because you see, she's very good and she was performing. So resign, I don't think we will get somebody like her, or in fact, we will get somebody who's performing like she was doing.
As the Office of the Special Prosecutor is set to probe this matter, the members of the general public want a thorough work. For Citi News, I am Edwards upon Marfon, Bantama constituency.
Right, so as we were discussing earlier, we are yet to know what specific law Madam Cecilia Abinadapa has broken. But I mean, there's also the issue of unexplained wealth. So with all this, we are not sure exactly what charges the OSP is looking to. I'm sure with time we'll get to know. But what it is that if she's unable, she fails to explain the source of these monies, then she loses these monies to the states. But is the money sitting there? Is it available? Has it been confiscated? Because we've heard some minority members of parliament say that the OSP should quickly move to freeze her current accounts so that at least some forensic audits can be conducted into it.
So with regards to, her inability to explain the source of, this particular amount of money, the argument has been that she should be able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that, well, this is actually income she's earned or gifts she's acquired or even inheritance of any kind.
What of proceeds for
investment
a business
or a business venture. Yeah. So if she's unable to, tell us exactly how she got this money, and I think that is where the investigation now should focus, because I remember when the incident broke, the question on the lips of people, is she going to resign? Is the president going to dismiss her? In fact, she took the resignation herself, and afterwards they said that the resignation is not enough. It must go a step further to ensure that we get to know exactly where she got this amount of money from. But looking at, this video clip, the residents of the hometown, if you are not careful, you might think that, well, these people are just peeved because they've not benefited from, the member of the former minister, for which reason they seem indifferent, and I think they even care less about.
It's a general sentiment across the
exactly the point I was going. So you realize that people go into elections, they just flash in the constituency, give people some amount of money, and then after the election, you do not get to hear of them again. As a minister, you do not care what is happening. I mean, some will say that, well, as a minister, it is not your job to, be doing developmental works in the places you hail from, or even as a lawmaker. Your main or core duty is to make laws and not to, fast-track infrastructure development and all that. So the nuances are there. But the residents and the community members should exercise patience. I mean, the kind of concerns they are expressing, the kind of language they are using, I do not think it will help the discourse at all, because if you go on to say that, well, it's good that the house help actually stole the money, next time it could be you could get a property and then somebody will just take it out from you and then you come back to the same point. So I mean, we should be measured in some of the commentaries. Well, we know that just for the optics, as a minister of state, as a former minister of state, some of these things. So, for example, they said that in August or in October, when she was keeping that amount of money there, that was when the government was telling us that don't hold the dollar because you want to tame inflation.
It had shot from about 4 cedis to 12 cedis.
The same who were telling us, to release the dollar onto the market are the same
supposedly people keeping money in their homes.
Some of these things do not augur well for us.
I mean, early days yet. We're sure that investigations will reveal a lot more. We're hoping that the OSP will have the laxity, the freedom, and the resources to carry these investigations out to the latter. And then, I mean, we all wait to see the outcome of these investigations. Quite interesting times ahead. Let's take you to, or still stay in the Ashanti region, because there's a case of alleged police brutality in Aswasi. The autopsy report has come out. What does it say?
An autopsy has revealed a 34-year-old of alleged police brutality died of massive blood in his abdominal cavity. The report also indicated that the deceased suffered a splenic rupture, blunt force trauma. Citi News' Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani reports.
The death of 34-year-old Salaudin Tafilu sparked anger among youth within the Asakwarimompo municipality who attacked the Aswasi police station and vandalized properties there. Relatives and friends accused police of manhandling the deceased, leading to his death.
What they have not been done right now, you came and then maybe if you have arrest somebody and then the fellow, maybe something happened to him. The first thing you have to do is you have to take him to the hospital. Even though if he's a criminal or whatever it is, you have to take him to the hospital. Then first aid or whatever it is. If he come normal, then whatever the case is you can do. But you shouldn't have leave the fellow like that, then you go away. It's a human being, all right? It's not even a cock. You can't just kill a cock and leave it alone and go your way.
Free bibiansi nti we kan wa tu no ya kan mo si mo sisi asam no ba mo ba kopime ne obi amba hwi ana no a mo saba ko mo bi wo ha no makono nti ye pese ye pe wa aban chaw ye nyina so ye nipa ama ye nam se mo uniform na mo hye no nti na ye ren esuro mu no because o hye aban tade nti ohun na o ye bibia se o respect ma no ba se wo ko hye police ni won hye atade won hye hwi.
Police on Sunday stormed the Goro community and carried out a swoop in usual operations and later arrested some civilians. The deceased was part of those people arrested, but his lifeless body was later found after the police officers left the area. Relatives and friends could not hold back their tears when the body arrived at the residence of the deceased from the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital after an autopsy was conducted. The body was prepared and buried according to Islamic rites. The head of the family, Yahya Abdul Aziz, says the bereaved relatives will pursue the matter until justice is served.
Ana body ni yenya yekosie no ba ebesre se mpanyimfo bosha omoshe se pepepe ye beba no eno ne yetwen pepepe yo ne edepende sesesi a o ma prosecute akwala no, and we are waiting for results na beba no na mpanyimfo agina so ebu atantenene. By what I know ne say ye ne regional commander o ma ya ade pa na ma omu 2 ye eni omu koshia ye nkita ho a eni omu die, and I think say this case encouraged.
The leadership of the Muslim community is, however, urging calm among the youths.
We have been talking, making sure they are okay, making sure they calm down. There's, it's their friend, their brother. They have to use their intelligence. And so when you create problems now, nobody will follow you. So we will continue talking to them and make sure that, they are what should, there's nothing we can do. And you see, and I'll beg the government as well and our police forces. You see, whenever something like this happens, we know it's not intentional, understand me? But the youth, they love themselves. This is one of them that have gone. Actually, there will be kata, webe kasa, webe yewe. There will be a lot of issue. So we as a leader, we have to come in and talk to them. And I know by the special grace of God, the way we are speaking to them now, everything will be done. And we just see, every country, there's a little bit for the family. They should take care of the family. That's very, very important.
Meanwhile, police officers have been stationed at the Aswansi police station to prevent further attacks on the facility.
Although the deceased has been buried, the family says they will pursue this case until justice is served. Hafiz Tijani, Citi News, Kumasi, Ashanti region.
Well, first off, condolences to the family of Salahuddin. It's painful to lose a relative, and then also it is a right they have to demand that justice is served. But I thought we were done with issues of police brutality. Looking at all the reforms, the reformation the IGP is doing within the service, I was hoping that this would be a thing of the past.
Well, perhaps it's about time we got, a national, police professionalism strategy to handle some of these things, because in instances of, police violence, abuse, or even to some extent extrajudicial killings, usually you realize that there is no clear-cut ways and means the police will have to, handle some of these things. Because if you look at this particular story, you arrest somebody in a soup and then subject the person to this kind of abuse. The issue or the rhetoric will be that, well, at the end of the day, justice will be served. And this justice we are talking about is either one, the perpetrators are arrested and are made to face the full rigors of the law, or even the family is compensated to some. But for how long are we going to, do this? So I think we should go a step further. Let's have a proper strategy that if you're a police officer, you find yourself in a very volatile situation, and then you are unable to, apprehend people you suspect to have committed a crime, what are the laid down proceedings? Until then, I think that some of these things will continue to happen, which will not augur well for, the police service and security in our parts of the country.
Quite important, and it is indeed necessary that police will institute measures to foster proper police-civilian relations, because, law and order could break down if these things could. You heard from that insert there, the gentleman was saying that they only held back because of the uniform.
Yes, and it tells you the mistrust even the public has in, the police office, because they know that, well, if they do not take the law into their own hands, which is actually wrong, the police will have its way out when some of these things happen.
All right, you're still watching CNR Extra here on Citi TV. Still to come. Ghana Water Company Limited vows to halt operations in illegal mining affected areas as water turbidity hits critical level. We'll tell you more shortly. Stay with us.
entries have been received and the marking has begun. Who makes it to the next round of the Literacy Challenge 2023? Randomly selected entries will be read on 97.3 Citi FM, on Brunch in the City and the Traffic Avenue, and on Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Stay tuned to Citi TV and 97.3 Citi FM to find out who makes it to Level 2 of the Literacy Challenge 2023. Level 2, the aptitude test. The top 50 contestants from across Ghana to make it to the next round of the Literacy Challenge shall take part in a written aptitude test on Saturday, 12th August 2023. Level 3, the live quiz. The top 10 contestants from Level 2 shall compete for the grand prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis and a trophy in a classic quiz competition. Call 0558 973 973 for more details. The Literacy Challenge 2023 is powered by Citi TV, supported by 97.3 Citi FM, and is sponsored by the Ghana National Gas Company, Webby Crunchy Biscuits by M4 Foods, SRC Insurance PLC, Perspectives Ghana Limited, Dex Technology, Alive Soap, and Fortune Rice.
Welcome back. Many thanks to you for staying with us. Let's continue with our stories. And illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey, continues to be one of the major factors of environmental degradation and, of course, water pollution. Now, the Ghana Water Company appears to have had it to the neck, and they've issued some warnings.
Now, the Ghana Water Company says it is determined in shutting down its plants in areas impacted by illegal mining when the water stability surpasses a critical threshold. In a Public Accounts Committee hearing, the company defended its proposed 334% tariff increase, explaining that it aims to get Ghanaians to assume responsibility by deterring illegal mining activities within their communities. This report has more.
The 2021 Auditor General's report revealed that in 2019, the Ghana Water Company made a loss of 1.8 billion cedis. The utility company has largely attributed the loss to activities of illegal mining, meter theft, and some unplanned operational costs. The company says it is currently burdened by huge sums of money spent on chemicals to treat high turbidity levels of raw water at various extraction stations. During a Public Accounts Committee sitting on Monday, July 7, 2023, the Managing Director of the company, Dr. Clifford Brymer, expressed his outfit's determination in shutting down its plants in areas impacted by illegal mining when the water's turbidity exceeds a critical threshold. He expressed his concerns about the substantial impact of illegal mining on the operations and made an appeal for collective efforts to combat this issue.
If I had my way, Ghanaians will go and chase all the galamseys out of their areas. Because once the turbidity goes up, we'll shut the plant. If you have no alternative to any water, I think you take the fight seriously. Because we stay with the people who do it and allow them to pollute the water. And if you are no longer having water for you too, because once they polluted the water and Ghana Water Company is not running, you will not even know where to go and get the water. And so citizens will take it up. Alternatively, like when we were requesting for the 34%, 334%, we were bold enough to defend our position that we feel that the tariff should go up to 334%. Because if you pollute the water and the cost goes high, why don't you pay for it? Because you are making money on one hand by polluting the water, so bring the money and come and then pay for its treatment.
The company also expressed concern over the theft of meter components, which increases their operational cost. In view of this, Dr. Brima said plans were underway to replace these meters with materials that are not valuable to the unscrupulous persons.
We are also now encountering some further challenges because people now vandalize them just because we have some brass in our safety valve.
Wow.
And that is a challenge in our business. Every day there is a cost that you don't anticipate and is put on your operations. So now people are breaking them. Just recently in Tema, 30 meters were vandalized and taken away. If you are lucky, they will take the brass and leave your meter for you to come and pick. If you are not lucky, they will go and throw it somewhere you can never find it. So you've lost water, you've lost your meter.
If they leave the meter, can it still be used?
Yes. Normally they don't touch the meter. It's the safety valve where the brass is. They used to tamper with the meter, but we've decided that the suppliers, the manufacturers, use materials that are not useful to them.
Okay.
And we've changed that. And then they've also moved to another material that they can use. So that's the challenge.
So can you change that material also?
We are exploring ways of using fiberglass to do that, which is not useful to them.
Okay.
The State Housing Company, which took turn to answer questions from the committee, was however praised for turning around the fortunes of the company. The managing director, Kwabena Mpofu-Appiah, revealed that his outfit is keen on ensuring that the country benefits from its intended mandate.
I think the change in leadership and also a new sense of wanting to actually build a company from our staff is actually helping us to be able to get at some of these things. And I mean, the two issues that we dealt with, is 2016, and some of these even dated even earlier than that. But thankfully, we've been able to resolve those issues. And I'm hoping that as the years goes by, the company is going to improve and then the issues are going to get smaller and smaller. So we're actually commissioning this project next week in Pokuase, where we'll be providing affordable housing. And this is truly, truly low-income homes that Ghanaians all across should be able to afford. And I'm looking forward, and we are very excited for this project to kickstart.
You can understand the frustrations of Engineer Dr. Clifford Brima, the MD of the Ghana Water Company. I mean, the company is incurring cost. Because say if you needed a amount of alum to purify X amount of water minus illegal mining. Now there is illegal mining, so you need times 4 or times 5.
It has quadrupled.
Exactly. So you can understand him saying that it's either we shut down operations in these areas or we find a way to get the galamseyers to pay for the destruction they are causing to the water.
And the risks are actually enormous because when the soil was playing, I was actually making these calculations. They warned that by 2030, if care is not taken, we may be importing some water into the country, and we are just 7 years away from, 2030. So the dark consequences are actually glaring. And you remember when utility tariffs were actually increased, one of the justifications was that, well, we are incurring a lot more money in purifying, the polluted water bodies, and so that is why they were actually pushing for more than 300% increment in utility tariffs. So if care is not taken, this is actually going to be one of the justifications for consistent increment utility tariffs, and we don't want to get there, because if they are unable to increase the tariffs to get through with their cost of production, the only option left for them is actually to shut down, which we do not want to get there. So I see
the challenge with the tariff is that you are passing on the cost of someone's irresponsibility to all of us
consumers.
You see, that's where the challenge with this is. And so the buck really, and as always, will stop with leadership.
And also, perhaps, let's also broaden it and say that, well, if you see something, say something in this regard. If you realize that a lot of people are polluting, water bodies, maybe you have to speak up for the authorities to go in there. We are not eliminating, leadership from the equation, because with proper leadership, most of our problems will actually be solved. And we know how devastating illegal mining, otherwise known as galamsey, is to our natural resources and also our livelihoods in general. And so if people are irresponsibly mining, and then it will be at the detriment of, innocent people, the law must be enforced to ensure that these people are actually facing the full rigors of the law. And also, authorities must also broaden the investigation. I mean, sometimes when we launch investigations and we say, well, we are moving into this place to ensure that we clamp down on these activities, we go in just one day and then we go back to sleep, which doesn't really help matters.
I think the Galamsey matter is no longer a bread and butter issue. I think people are just being greedy and selfish, and we should crack the whip to the latter.
Not care about the devastating effects on livelihoods.
I mean, just this week we are hearing that they've moved into the black voter and they are destroying the.
Just imagine.
Okay, I have no authority in this country, but and pray it stays that way because it makes no sense. Anyway, let's do some politics now. The New Patriotic Party is scheduled to go into elections to pick a flag bearer to lead the party into the 2024 elections. However, there are 10 aspirants. They've been meeting with the party, and the meetings so far have been inconclusive. Let's find out why.
A planned meeting between the Elections Committee of the governing New Patriotic Party and the 10 aspirants seeking to lead the party into the 2024 elections has ended inconclusively. Another meeting has been rescheduled to Wednesday, July 26, 2023, for the committee to thrash out all challenges ahead of the 26th August Special Delegates Congress. Citi News' Sami Wiafe has more.
The meeting, which was held on Monday, following a protest by 9 out of the 10 aspirants over modalities guiding the election, was also expected to ballot for positions for the various aspirants ahead of the August 26th polls. The aspirants, with the exception of Vice President Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, have signed a petition to the Elections Committee demanding full disclosure of the processes leading to the election and measures put in place for a free, fair and transparent election. The aspirants, who were represented by their agents, say they will demand for a fair election. Spokesperson for the Elections Committee, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, told journalists that another meeting will be held on Wednesday to address all concerns raised by the aspirants and their agents.
We do not have any petition. We haven't received any petition. We've had an engagement with representatives of aspirants. By the grace of God, the engagement ended successfully and fruitfully. We are going to have a meeting on Wednesday.
To discuss the same issue
we are going to have a meeting on Wednesday.
To discuss the same issue.
We are going to have a meeting on Wednesday.
Discuss what if I
we are going to have a meeting on Wednesday. When we're done with the meeting, I will brief you. Thank you very much.
You're a member of the election committee. How is the election going so far?
So far, so good. This is a family affair. This is a family affair. Everything is going well. We are so far happy with processes, and the guidelines have been laid out. And it's not going to be the first time MPP is going to have an internal contest. Ours is to have a vibrant one, an engaging one, and to ensure that internal democracy is upheld. I mean, it's as simple as that.
So the General Secretary mentioned about a register that could be ready for these aspirants. You're a member of this committee. Is the register ready to be given to them, or you're still working on it?
I will brief you as and when a matter become ripe. The General Secretary has spoken broadly. My duty as the spokesperson of the Elections Committee is to brief you on specific matters. As and when such specific matters are due, I'm going to brief you on that. Okay? Thank you very much, sir.
So there are a number of issues dominating the conversations with respect to the MPP's flag bearer elections. Key amongst them is whether or not the 26th August election should be centralized or decentralized. And then also there is the issue about the voters register for this particular exercise. The meeting, as we've just been told, ended inconclusively. Now there are 10 aspirants. As to whether they are united in their demands, we're not sure. But somewhere last week we picked intel that 9 of them were against the decentralization of the exercise. -1.
Why is it I don't want to say which particular candidate is the -1?
You can put out that information if you have it.
I'm reading it for you.
Yes, but we're hoping that for a party in government that is seeking to retain power, the largely touted break the eight mantra, they should be able to iron out their issues
exactly the
and
point
gear
I
up
was,
for the main elections next year.
Because when they held the vetting for these 10 candidates, it went on smoothly. For which reason I even thought that, well, the party has conducted itself properly, for which reason it's actually prepared and poised for, action breaking the eight. Only for us to see that in the aftermath of the vetting, some of these issues are coming up. And so, for me, I think they should just iron out their issues. They should look at where the loopholes are. They should try and, find their own solutions to some of these problems in order not to throw, this whole election off gear. Because if they're unable to manage this election properly, internal wranglings are all over the place. It doesn't really speak well for them. And this is what the opposition party can actually use against them in the run-up to the 2024 election. So the candidates must all come on board. The party itself should try as much as possible to find a mechanism to, address some of these concerns.
All right, this is still CNR Extra here on Citi TV. Still to come. 14-year-old Ghanaian swimmer aims to win medals for Ghana in future. We'll tell you about her right after this break. You stay with us.
Citi TV is live on DSTV. Find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117. And on HD Plus, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV. Citi TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD Plus boxes. Citi TV, it's your world.
Grateful that you stayed on with us. This is CNR Extra here on Citi TV. Do you swim?
I do not swim, but it's something I would want to learn. And having been at, our national swimming championship, I told myself that this is the time for me to learn swimming.
Let's tell the story of a fantastic swimmer, 14-year-old Naima Kankam. She's amazing. Take a look at this.
Now, there's an abundance of sporting talent here in Ghana across various sporting disciplines, from football to swimming. This country is blessed with an overload of skilled athletes, many of whom desire to put Ghana on the map. Now, Citi Sports' Bernard Ose in this report tells the story of 14-year-old Naima Kankam, who obliterated her peers at the recent Citi TV National Swimming Championship.
As talent goes, Naima Kankam is an intriguing case, a special kind of girl who has great prospects to become one of Ghana's finest swimmers. At a tender age of just 14, Naima has over 15 medals in her closet, with most of them being gold and silver. Naima Kankam first caught my attention at the just-ended Citi TV National Swimming Championship, which was held at the Ghana Armed Forces Sports Complex in Bema Camp, Accra. She was simply unmatched, sweeping gold medal after gold medal at the end of the one-day swimming competition organized in partnership with the Ghana Swimming Association. Days after her heroics, I paid a visit to her home, where she lives with her parents and siblings at Tesano in Accra, to have a better understanding of who this young protege is. Including her, it is a family of 6 siblings, and her two parents, Jeffrey and Nadia. Naima picked her sporting genes from her Ghanaian father, who was an athlete in his time at a Chimoto school, while her Ivorian mother, Nadia, was not so involved in sports in her younger days. A day in the life of this teenager starts very early, with her first training session scheduled for 4:30 a.m. every day. From there, she returns home, then takes a short break before jumping in the kitchen with her mom and siblings to prepare some breakfast. She jumps into her books at home. Naima and her two siblings, Jeffrey and Luke, are homeschooled and they have very rigorous educational schedules. I asked their parents why they chose that option and how that has helped the children to pursue their interest in swimming.
Diverged from the way that society was moving. I mean, nothing had changed in the educational system for 100 years. Because they're very goal-oriented, whether it is academia or whether it is sports, specifically swimming, they're very clear about, okay, I can have a goal, but how do I achieve it? And how do I get close to it day by day?
The flexibility really helped because we know, let's say the others in the school have to be there at a particular time. So if, for example, the training has to extend a little bit, it might be challenging for the others, but we just schedule the time that we need to get in class so that she can be doing the extra period without too much difficulty.
From their lovely home, the Citi sports team had the chance to see her train with her swimming team, Marlin Swim Club, at the Tetanus Sports Club. I spoke to the coach and founder of Marlin Swim Club, Raphael Quay, who spoke about his first experience with the young swimmer.
I think I remember when I met Naima very clearly. I had just started the team. She's one of the founding members. I had come for training with my handful of swimmers on that day. And in setting up the lane ropes, I saw these two young children. It was she and her brother swimming up and down. And at that time, I was on the lookout for talent. And when I watched their stroke, I could tell these people had been well coached with the fundamentals. So I had to ask them what they're doing here, how long they're here for. They directed me to their dad, Mr. Kankam. I went to speak to him, told him the vision of the sports club and what I'm trying to achieve. And he said, sure, they can join for the day. They loved it. I liked them. And 5 years later, this is where we are.
For Raphael, the sky is just the beginning for Naima if she decides to continue in the path of swimming.
I mean, for Naima, I think yes, the sky is the limit. In fact, the sky is not even the limit. Her potential is limitless. If she tries to, I think she's committed to it. She's continue this commitment with support from her parents, from her coaches, the swimming community as large. I think with all that and giving her exposure to more competitive events, I think she can be a major prospect for Ghana swimming.
I then spoke to Naima Kankam, who started pursuing swimming at the age of 8, why she chose this sporting discipline and not any other.
I don't think there's any reason why I chose swimming. It's just the first sport I ever tried. I remember because we were homeschooled, my dad was teaching us how to swim. I remember one day we came and Ralph was here training with the other students. And then he came to ask Jeffrey and I whether we could swim. And we had a whole conversation and that's where it started.
I then asked how she balances her homeschooling program and actively pursuing swimming as just not a mere hobby.
I just make schedules and try as much as possible to follow them, to make like a timeline for every single thing I'm doing. So we train morning and evening. So I pick which days I'll train in the morning and which days I'll train in the evening. Sometimes I do both.
Despite the uncertainties of life, young Naima believes she'll keep swimming as she constantly continues to search for herself.
There's so many things I want to do, and I don't know that swimming is my main goal. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life. But I'm going to keep swimming until I find out what I want to do. Right now, I know I want to swim. So I'm living in the moment and swimming and swimming. If I do stop, it means I've gone to uni. So.
This is the story of 14-year-old Naima Kankam. But only time can tell if this 14-year-old girl will become Ghana's best swimmer we've ever seen. For Citi News, my name is Bernard Osei.
Indeed, time will tell, and we hope that when that time comes, we'll be cheering on Naima Kankam, who hopefully will be getting us some medals in the future. But thank you so very much, Nilate Latte.
Thank you, Nana,
of course, ever grateful to you for choosing to spend your morning with us. My name is Nana Tufo Boating. Many thanks to you for watching. Stay tuned to Citi TV.